Hi, my name is Brian, and I'm 39 years old. It all started when I met my girlfriend Lynn after graduating from college. She was a friend of one of my colleagues. I started liking her from the first time I met her. She was smart, bold, and pretty. After getting to know her over the next few weeks, I asked her out, and that is how we started dating. Well, things were going pretty smoothly for us until one day, she called me in the middle of the night to break some shocking news. "Brian, I just found out I'm pregnant," she said over the phone. "What?" I exclaimed in shock. "Yeah, sorry for startling you like this," she said slowly. "No, it's okay. Are you home right now? Just stay there, I'll come over," I quickly said. "No, don't," she replied. "We can meet tomorrow. Don't panic right now." Before I could say anything, she hung up. The next morning, she didn't pick up my calls or answer any of my texts. I went to her house directly, but she wasn't there either. Her neighbors told me she left early in the morning, saying something about catching a flight. Now, you can imagine the state I was in. Lynn vanished into thin air after telling me she was pregnant. I had no other way of contacting her. She wasn't taking calls from any of her friends. No one knew anything about her parents or any other relatives. The whole thing kept haunting me for a few months, until I had to eventually move on and focus on my work. 1 year later, Lynn appeared at my home one day, with a baby in her arms. I froze in my place when I saw her. "Hi, Brian," she said with a smile as if nothing was wrong. "You? Why are you here?" I exclaimed. "Do you have any idea how much I suffered because of you?" She sighed. "I'm sorry. I know what I did was wrong, but, it wasn't easy for me either. Everything was happening so fast, and I was confused." "What were you confused about?" I yelled. "I told you to wait for me that night, but you freaking ran away without a word. I tried so hard to contact you, but nothing worked. In the end, I convinced myself that the baby wasn't mine, maybe. And that's why you disappeared like that." "No," she immediately protested. "She is yours. I just had to go because, well, my parents were really mad, and they were going to disown me. I had to go to them. All this time I was staying with them, and, they kind of changed their mind after Aaron was born." I was guessing that Aaron was our daughter's name, but whatever, her excuses weren't even making sense. "Why are you here now?" I asked. "Well, my parents are pretty broke, and since I don't have a job, it's really difficult to bear Aaron's expenses," she said. "That's why my mom suggested that I should come back to you." "Wow, so all this time, you were away and didn't bother contacting me," I started with a frown, "and now that you need money, you decide to appear out of nowhere with these illogical excuses? To be honest, I'm not even sure if Erin is my daughter." "Brian, how can you say that?" she cried. "She really is your daughter. Why would I lie?" "I have no reason to believe you after you ghosted me like that," I replied. "But I don't want this baby to suffer. So I will take her in as my daughter and provide for her." "What? But I thought you would marry me," she said. "We can get married and be a happy family. You have a nice job, so we won't have to face any problems." "It's always about money, isn't it?" I asked in disbelief. "I'm not going to marry you, Lynn, not after the stunt you pulled. However, I want to raise Erin. Don't make this difficult for her as well. And please leave." Honestly, the way I was seeing this whole thing, it seemed like a trap. As I said, I wasn't even sure if Erin was my daughter, but I wasn't that heartless to just let a baby suffer. Lynn was probably expecting to use Erin as an excuse to marry me and leech off of my money, and of course I wasn't about to let that happen. That's why I decided to take in Erin as my daughter and break all ties with Lynn. Lynn had no other choice but to comply. Well, I did give her the liberty of visiting Erin from time to time, but Every time she came, all her conversations were about wealth and luxury. From what I knew, she was always on the lookout for rich men who could fulfill her wishes. Thank God Erin was with me. I really had no idea what Lynn was up to. To make it worse, as time passed, and Erin started growing up, Lynn would come and mock me for not being a good father. "You know, Erin is going to end up poor too," she said one day. "Your money won't last forever. And she has no special talent of her own. One day she'll come to me begging for support. But, oh well, as you know, I can't do that." "What the hell are you talking about?" I frowned. "She's your daughter too. Why are you putting her down? And who said she's not talented? You don't even spend enough time with her to know anything." "Oh, please. It's like I've got time to waste on her. She's been holding me back since the day she was born," Lynn said. "Please leave if you're going to start speaking such nonsense." I pointed a finger towards the door. "Don't come back unless you genuinely feel something towards Erin." Lynn almost stopped visiting after that day. To be honest, Erin was better off without her bitter words. More time passed, and Erin grew up to be an intelligent girl. Unlike what Lynn believed, Erin was really talented, and I always encouraged her to follow her dreams. Since Erin was interested in theater and acting, I got her admitted in classes so she could improve her skills. And as expected, she made considerable progress in a short time. She started auditioning and getting roles in movies while she was still in high school. And by the time she was in college, she'd become a well-known actress. I couldn't be any more proud of her. Now, cue Lynn appearing out of nowhere once again. "Hey, Erin, how are you?" she asked sweetly. "I'm so happy for you. You really are my daughter, huh? I used to like acting too." Who cares? Erin smiled uncomfortably. "I haven't seen you for a while. Where have you been?" "Oh, I got dumped by my boyfriend and, I'm now done with dating. I just want a family and settle down peacefully. That's why I came here today. I was really missing you." Then she turned to me, "And you too." Now, I had no idea if she was being genuine or just making things up, but I kind of pitied her. It seemed like she was going through rough times. "I'm sorry, too," she suddenly said, surprising me. "I've done and said pretty bad things, and I regret everything. Erin, I'm sorry if you ever felt like I was mocking you, and Brian, I'm sorry for everything." "It's okay, Mom," Erin replied awkwardly. "I don't hold grudges. I can't say that I'm a better person now, but I am trying," Lynn continued. "I've realized my mistakes and stopped chasing after money. And I also understand the value of being independent. That's why I'm working 3 jobs right now. The pay isn't much, but it is something." Whoa! This was huge. I never thought I would ever hear Lynn say something like that. After apologizing once again, she left. After that day, her visits became regular, and I could see the change in her. She really seemed to be trying. Now, instead of mocking or putting us down, she would always say encouraging things. She even brought us gifts from her own money. Erin seemed to be getting along with her. Slowly, I found myself forgiving her too. One day, while Erin wasn't around, Lynn asked me a question that I had no reply to. "Is it still not possible for you to completely get over the past and marry me?" she asked. Well, to be honest, I was falling for her once again, and I could see that her feelings were genuine this time. But I don't know. It was still difficult for me to trust her. What if she did the same thing again? What if this was an act? Yeah, I'm a little paranoid like that. Even Erin wanted me to marry Lynn, so we could live together as a family. But as I said, how could I trust her after everything? Then again, people change and regret their past sometimes. What would you have done if you were in my place? Would you have overlooked the past and taken her back? Would it have been possible for you to place your trust in someone who broke it once? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.